We're kicking off the second hour of the show with a story you've been hearing in our news bulletins. Clare County Council has scrapped two of the most controversial elements of the Ennis 2040 strategy from the county development plan. Proposals to build a boardwalk over the Ennis Post Office Field and a mixed-use commercial building at Abbey Street had been the subject of large local protests since 2023. The projects were officially paused by the Ennis 2040 DAC last year before a proposed variation to the county development plan last March suggested removing them altogether. Elected representatives yesterday voted in favour of the variation, which will also designate 250 sites and 1,200 acres for residential use countywide. And for more on this, I'm joined in studio by Cora Hahessy from the Save Ennis Town campaign group and the chairperson of the Hands Off Ennis Post Office Field campaign group, Martin Vernon. Very good morning to both of you. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, how are you, Alan?
We heard it mentioned on the news bulletins, Cora, that Ennis Town has been saved. Is that how you and your fellow campaigners are feeling, that this is the saving of the town?
It's a very happy day for our group and for Ennis. I think the car parks were if the car parks were built on, I think it would sound the death knell for Ennis. And if I could briefly just bring people back to August 2017, Flacciol na Hearan, the launch of the song Clare My Heart My Home in Abbey Street car park. It was just an incredible night. The Tulla band, and I remember thinking that night, we are blessed. I was at it and I actually shed tears because I thought the song was so amazing as well, anthemic, and it has become an anthem. But I just thought this is the most special civic space in the whole world, and it has to remain a civic space as well and double as a car park. Of course we need the car park. There's an awful shortage bit by bit. Car parking spaces have been taken away in different areas around town, so I think the town, even though it's going through a difficult time at the moment, but if those two car parks were gone,
you think that would have been even worse?
Yeah, very bad for Ennis and its businesses. You know, they've suffered a lot with the realm and that. So I think it's a very joyous day. It's all positive. We are so happy and so grateful.
Martin, no doubt, there's no point asking you how you feel because it's the exact same. You're grinning like a Cheshire cat there. What do you feel were what was the key factor or factors that persuaded councillors and decision makers to change course? Was it through just incessant campaigning and highlighting these issues, keeping them in the spotlight?
Yeah, this is a huge day for Ennis, a huge day for County Clare. We're absolutely delighted. Local people have worked long and hard to make this happen, and yes, it's people power is what's swayed the thing. And I'm thinking about talking to Cora earlier about 7 generations of her family that she's managed to track back to people who've sadly some people who've passed as part of our campaign who are no longer with us. I'm thinking of Cornelia Wiley, Bernie Loftus, who was involved in both campaigns for Save Ennis Town and the Hands Off Ennis Post Office Field, and of course Dermot Hayes.
I suspect they'd all have been very happy today.
And I think people will be smiling down from heaven and cheering about this big day for the town. And yes, people power. What I want to say is that our town is called Ennis, an island. The flow of the rivers into the River Fergus, the bend at Harvey's Quay, the bend at Steele's Rock. This defines the shape of the town. So the field is absolutely fundamental. It's a floodplain, it's a wetland, and it's an unofficial nature reserve. And what we want to do is we want to say, first of all, can we make this by some mechanism the very last plan to build on the field or to develop the field? Can we agree that this is fundamentally a place for nature? And that's the basis of what we're saying. Okay. And then we have all kinds of plans for the future, and And we want to move from being a protest group saying no to this idea and no to that, and we would like to be in future working alongside the council. We have many ideas, and so do other people about the future.
Well, Cora, Martin used the phrase people power, and that power didn't just emanate from campaigners such as yourselves. It was also about members of the public who were exercised about this, because of course the campaign attracted significant public support. There were a petition with thousands of signatures, which must have played a significant part as well.
Absolutely. We were 12 people representing the public, basically. We had huge support from the public. We collected nearly 4,000 signatures. We had a silent march to Clare County Council, and we had a huge rally in the square, if you remember. It's 3 long years, and over that period we had meetings where we were despondent, we were, and hopeful other times, but we got through, we worked together. And actually, if I could just pay tribute to our perfectly gender balanced group in Save Ennis Town, we had 6 males and 6 females, and we formed some great.
Was that intentional, or it just worked out that way?
It was just organic, actually. But we just worked so hard because all of us had the same thing in our heart. We all love this beautiful medieval town. That's what was in our heart all the time. And I think now it's time to look forward and work on that. But still, I think our unique selling point in Ennis is that we have a beautiful medieval town, and we should work to protect that, and because that is our asset.
Housing. I think that I use that word on Morning Focus more than any other word. You previously said you were happy with the direction the Ennis 2040 DAC was taken. Are you satisfied that the revised remit is now focusing more on housing projects, particularly the affordable housing developments proposed for Francis Street near us here, and the lands at Chlorine, and that this shift towards housing is a more appropriate use of public resources than some of the earlier regeneration proposals?
It absolutely is. It's very hard to think of people with good salaries, who just cannot get a house. They can't get a mortgage. They can't save enough because the cost of living. It'd be lovely to get some people back living in the town centre. It'd be good for footfall and for businesses and everything. But it's time to give affordable housing to people. I think the people who died for Ireland, our heroes, would be sad to think now in this day and age that people can't have their own home. They work hard. They just can't afford a house. It's definitely time to focus on housing. And that brings its own benefits. It brings spending, it brings footfall, and just even the population in town. It brings positivity, it brings school numbers up, everything positive. And I really think now it's time to look forward and be grateful and work hard with this town. We need to shop local as well.
Okay, just some messages coming in on this on 086 1800 964. One listener says, a great achievement by the people of Ennis. People power works. That's certainly the phrase of the morning. And another listener says, I don't see why the Post Office Field wouldn't make a nice town centre mini park, stick in a few seats, a few lights and a few tracks to walk on, fence off a little bit by the river for the river birds to own by the river bank, and you're done. Martin, what you make of that? And whether you agree or disagree, isn't it? It's nice to see the people are exercised enough by this that they're invested in the future of their home place, their town. Yeah, and since the decision yesterday, there's a huge movement on social media. Lots of people coming in and just people in the street. I'm getting stopped in the street already for autographs. Not for autographs, but just there's people who are really delighted. Our point of view is that we're in the middle of a huge climate crisis, a biodiversity crisis. Species are going extinct by the minute. This is one place in the centre of our town. It was described as it was once called the meadow. It was the lungs and the heart of our town. And we feel that we don't have to put concrete on every blade of grass. Let's preserve this for nature. And our point of view is, there are people who've used the field in the past. It was grazed. There's fishermen who've been fishing it for generations. But our point of view is that generally we want to make places on the town side of the river where people can appreciate the field. So since we had the flood defences with the huge wall, there's nowhere where people can sit and appreciate the field because the wall is so high.
and we would like to build up seating areas around the field where with information about what can be seen on the field.
Is that, I suppose,
rather than being actually on the field and put in boardwalks and whatever onto the field. Let's leave this for nature and let's support nature.
And this is all part of what you said. You don't want to be known as just groups to say no. It's about now coming up with ideas and positivity and perhaps working in tandem with the council. Your colleague, the councillor Tommy Guilfoyle, was in with us a while back talking about the idea of a visitor heritage centre in the former Analog building in Bank Place. You clearly approve that. How might that work and what benefits could it bring?
Okay, so there, if you're standing across the road from the post office in Bank Place, you'll see on your right-hand side, on the St Columba's Church side, there is a building that's been derelict for many, many years with broken windows, complete eyesore. We would love to get that area and turn it into a biodiversity visitor centre. This would draw people into the town. We've got a university. People could come there to study the field, but not just the field, the river, the whole, flowing into the Shannon estuary, and celebrate nature. But it would be great for children. We don't totally want to keep people, everybody off the field, but we imagine like small groups of children going with a teacher onto the field. We hope. There's been many suggestions made, Alan. I'd like to just run off one or two of them, and they're only some of the ideas.
Very briefly before I go back to Cora.
People have supported us. Some of them are ecologists who've come to look at the field, and they've made suggestions. We could do some planting. There are native trees that would grow there, like alder. They've suggested maybe we might create some ponds which would attract frogs and dragonflies, etc. So we could. Make it a place that tourists will come to.
Which is where I guess the visitor centre comes in as well.
And the children and visitors and just people of the town can learn about nature.
So something that locals but also visitors can enjoy. Corey, this idea that Martin mentioned earlier on about perhaps working with the council and maybe having the council formally recognise the campaign groups as a stakeholder group, they all have a stake and an interest in what happens. How important is that? Do you think it is likely that may happen? Be a kind of unified group working towards the betterment of the town?
Actually, our group is kind of standing down now because we've achieved our objective. But I think I'd like to pay tribute to the new executive in Clare County Council, and I think going forward, effective consultation between the people and the council. The council need to listen to the people, and I feel quite optimistic that this is going to happen now, because consultation has always been a problem, but things have changed and that's good. But the other thing I'm happy about the council is they have served some compulsory purchase orders on derelict building old owners, and I think that's very important because part of the town does look derelict. And I always think of Kinsale as being such an amazing little town, and I think Ennis could be like that, with brighter colours. They did that in Cork County Council with the derelict buildings in Kinsale. I think it has to be all positive now. We have to promote our town and move forward,
Okay, one project that remains in the pipeline, though, is the planned Primark development adjacent to the Abbey Street car park that's linked, I guess, to the wider Ennis 2040 vision. What's your view of that development, Cora?
Well, I think there has to be investment in the town centre because numbers have fallen off. I think it'll be a good thing and it'll bring lots of footfall. Hopefully it's done well. And I often think if they built an Abbey Street car park, how are they ever going to access, but Abbey Street car park is so important, like it's just the lungs of the town, basically.
Would you have any concerns about how that project might be delivered, or do you broadly support it as it's currently proposed?
I do support it, I do support it. There has to be progress. our town has to move on. There has to be progress in town. We don't want everything on the periphery of town, because that's how towns die. We need, Ennis is an amazing town. I absolutely adore Ennis, but it's an amazing town to walk around. And I find anywhere I travel and people, you say you're from Ennis, firstly people say, oh, the old ground, and then they say, oh, the quaint little streets, and everyone loves Ennis.
Yeah, it's a big selling point, I guess, and that's an indication that kind of setting is seen less and less elsewhere.
It is, and we're losing a bit of it with development in the realm, and that's why I'm pleading with the council to take care of our medieval town, preserve it insofar, because it is our unique selling point.
Lots of messages coming in. I mentioned Councillor Tommy Guilfoyle, and I'd say his ears were burning because he has texted in to say big shout out to our chairman Martin Vernon. Martin's going to we'll see how much we can embarrass him now. He was the cornerstone of the Hands Off the Ennis Post Office Field campaign, and to Cora from Save Ennis Town, you're getting a bit of kudos there as well. This is a momentous day for everyone who's fought to safeguard the beautiful post office field and our town. Wheelie Bucas to everyone who supported the campaigns. It's a proud day for the people of Ennis and County Clare. John in Tulla says it's not a civic space, it's an empty, inaccessible field. As for the car park, simple solution, make the one that's most useful for accessing the town multi-storey.
No.
So two people shaking their head. Two people shaking their head fiercely. And lastly, your memory of Clare, My Heart, My Home, Cora, someone picking up on that to say it was performed in the market during the Flan at the Abbey Street car park.
Oh,
what say you to that?
Get the bat out.
We're going to have to talk to our adjudicators about that off air. We'll park that one there for the moment.
Could I just say that thank you for the kind words, Tommy, but this was a collective effort on both campaigns here, where just hundreds and hundreds of people came together and played their part, and I feel like we're standing on the shoulders of giants, because going back to the 90s, there were plans for shopping centres and nightclubs, and one man who I would please like to mention just for a second here is Donald Duggan, aged 93, who's lived opposite the field all his life, who absolutely adores the field and was a big campaigner in the 90s.
Okay. And happy day for him.
But it's a happy day for the people of Clare, the people of Ennis, and I'd like to think this is a line in the sand, and we need to move forward with all the positive ideas that we have for the town. People need to be listened to a little more than we have been. I think the consultation process has been a little flawed. There are so many. Do
you think lessons will be learned in that regard?
Well, I really do hope so. And we also want to move from being a protest group to an advisory group. And let's move forward, onwards and upwards for the town,
Yeah, very quickly.
And finally, can I pay tribute to Councillor Tom O'Callaghan, who really is a member of our group, but he was really in the front line all the time. And the other councillors, Councillor Tommy Guilfoyle, Pat Daly and Antoinette Bashua Baker, just to pay tribute to all of them, but particularly Councillor Tom O'Callaghan, because he really fought the fight for us, and it's a wonderful day for him. It's a wonderful day for the people of Ennis.
Fair play to you. Mention them all there. You won't be getting any grief after this chat. Right, my thanks to Cora Hahessy and Martin Vernon, guys. Thanks very much for joining me on the show.